Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening for Art That Touches the Soul. We're so glad you could join us. My name is Leela Oates. I'm here to offer just a few housekeeping tips so we can make sure the evening runs smoothly. As you may have noticed, everyone is muted at this time, and we ask that you will remain muted throughout the evening so we can make sure that we can hear as the presenters are speaking. So we ask that you will remain muted, and then also we ask that you will participate throughout the evening using the chat feature. If you have any questions, please use the chat feature for that as well, and we'll make sure that we present those questions to our presenters. Now I would like to introduce Lambda Tau Omega's president, Dr. Leah Hill, with our welcome, and immediately following Dr. Hill, you will hear from Betty Hood Escalante with our meditation.
Mrs. Frances Guichard, my sorority sister, Mr. Andre Guichard of the Gallery Guichard, my sorority sisters and all of our guests, welcome. My name is Leah Hill, and I'm the president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Lambda Tau Omega chapter, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Art That Touches the Soul Gallery. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Lambda Tau Omega chapter strives to enlighten, enrich, and expose our community to the arts. I have been blessed to have been raised in a family of artists. Two of my father's brothers were full-time artists, a sculptor and a painter, and everyone else dibbled and dabbled and could draw, as they say. I'm pretty sure that there is an artist gene, and most of my family has it. It has been given to me that I have a deep appreciation for the arts and the magical manner in which artists create. My sister and I were taught to respect art and the significant place it holds in the world. Whether you have the artist gene or not, we can all benefit from the beauty of the artist's masterpieces. As a psychologist, I know that just viewing art can change your brain's chemistry to a calming state. Although art is very personal, so find pieces that are beautiful to you and invest in what contributes to your happiness and your calm state of mind. We could all use that during this most unprecedented times. Good day and enjoy. Now, Betty Hood Escalante.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn has died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers signed. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on. Let us march on. Let us march on till victory is won.
Hold on just 1 second, Cherie. We cannot hear you. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Betty, for that uplifting and meaningful song of praise. Simply amazing.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cherie Haywood, and I am the chair of Target for the Arts. Today, I have the honor of introducing to you the owners of Gallery Guichard. The Gallery Guichard, located at 436 East 47th Street in Chicago, Illinois, has two wonderful co-owners who will present to us this evening. The Gallery Guichard is located on the first floor of the Bronzeville Lofts. Co-owner Andre Guichard, who is commonly referred to as the mayor of Bronzeville, has over 25 years of painting professionally. He, along with his wife and co-owner Frances, are the co-owners of Gallery Guichard. The two of them and their award-winning team have a diverse portfolio of artwork that they will discuss and share with us today. We are so thankful for their time and their art. I present to you Andre and Frances Guichard, who will lead us on a tour of art that is sure to touch your soul. Andre and Frances.
Welcome. My name is Andre Guichard.
And I'm Frances Guichard. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, I'd like to start off by thanking Lambda Tau Omega and the Target for Arts Committee for this opportunity for us to touch you with our creativity personally and the creativity of the 50+ artists we represent here at Gallery Guichard. We are a collaboration of artists, collectors, and art administrators. Frances and I are the member managers, and I want to say we're a very effective team, and we have a lot of fun with our passion, and it has taken us around the world, and we've met so many amazing people. And tonight, we have a very, very special program for you, and it will include some history about this amazing community, Bronzeville, some history about our journey, as well as an amazing tour through our pivot during this time, our virtual exhibition catalog that since COVID, we've been able to allow our guests to drop into the gallery 24/7 and enjoy the experience. So our mission is to create platforms for artists and collectors to meet, and this is the art practice in our business. But before we start this amazing tour, I did want to start off with some great history about this sacred ground that we live on.
So our community is called Bronzeville, and it's called Bronzeville for a reason, because at one point it was called the Black Belt, and Jimmy Gentry thought it would be better to call it what it really is. We're more bronze hues. So it's called Bronzeville, and there was the Bronzeville Beauties and the Bronzeville Mayor, and which Andre is one. There's so much rich history here. When we migrated from the north, migrated from the south to come to the north for a better way of life and a better opportunity for our children and future generations, we could not live everywhere. We could only live in certain areas. And because of redlining, that imaginary red line they drew, and to create a sense of keeping people in one location, we all lived here. But the dollar exchanged 15 times. We had people of all different economic statuses. We had doctors and lawyers, middle income, we had lower income. So we kept the dollar fluctuating and moving within our own communities. We shopped at the grocery store, we shopped at the cleaners, and we kept the money here and created wealth. Even though there were many, many people coming to this area, we ended up having so many people that it was almost overcrowded. And because of that, we had people who could learn from those who were upper class, middle class, and then be able to do better for themselves as well. A lot of famous people lived here. We had Louis Armstrong that lived in Chicago, Nat King Cole, Dinah Washington, Quincy Jones, who actually lived right down the street at the Rosenwald. It's a big building that was there for middle-class African Americans. Herbie Hancock, I probably didn't know that. So there's a lot of information, a lot of history. Mahalia Jackson, Catherine Dunham, who was a dancer and choreographer. Richard Wright, who was a writer. Literature, music, dance, theater.
And fine art.
And fine art with Dr. Burroughs and many other artists. And I'll pass that baton on to Andre, but I want to tell you real quickly about this building. The Jones brothers, who ran policy and were the first owners of the first African-American owned department store, owned and managed. And we also had next door to us, where we have the Great Migration Sculpture Garden, the Palm Tavern, where Jimmy Knight first owned it in 1930s, and then sold it later to Jerry Oliver, who owned it, where you had greats like Josephine Baker, Dizzy Gillespie, the Ink Spots, who would come here, play, rest, because they couldn't live or stay, they couldn't stay anywhere else while they were in town performing. So there's so much history in Bronzeville. I invite everybody to come out, come join us for our Bronzeville Art District Trolley Tour, which we'll talk about more later, and just enjoy the rich culture that Bronzeville has to offer.
Yes, and I'd just like to coattail on this, what we call sacred ground, because the Bronzeville Artist Loft was the Ben Franklin store, the first African-American department store in the country. And it was owned by the Jones brothers, who were policy kings, and their policy would end up becoming the Illinois Lottery. So we actually feel as though we've been passed a baton of greatness at this location, and our art practice actually involves living on and building on that great history and tradition. So with that, I do want to just touch on the 80 years of art movements in this neighborhood, dating back to the Work Progress Administration. And specifically, Eleanor Roosevelt came to Bronzeville in the 30s, and as part of the first stimulus during the first recession, they actually built 100 art centers around the country. And the only one remaining is in our neighborhood, part of our art district, the Southside Community Art Center, which is part of the Bronzeville Art District and our Bronzeville Art District Tour. But specifically, that movement of artists, Dr. Margaret Burroughs, who had found the DuSable Museum and the Southside Community Art Center, and
Charles White.
Charles White.
Archibald Motley.
Exactly. So that movement, then you went into the Wall of Respect in the 60s, which was the first mural in the country here in Chicago, and then into the 80s and 90s with some of my contemporary artists. It has been an amazing journey and steeped in history, full of collectors and art clubs, and such a deep history that really brings us to another point, which we'll talk about, which is the amazing opportunities and investment for art in this community, because what I like to call them diamonds in the rough, art that is appreciating 50%, 150%, 200% in just the 15 years that we've been hosting and our art practice featuring artists. It's an amazing opportunity for investors. And I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yeah, this is the great time to invest in art. Art has intrinsic value, and you know, the collector actually helps set the price in the market for art. So I think it's important for us to really delve into the culture and the history of art, and understanding that we as African people initially lived with art every day in Africa. It was something that we just felt natural to have. And whether it was a sculpture or paintings on the wall or the bowls that we used and served every day for general purposes, we created art. And that art passed down through our genes or culturally from the Great Migration, or from, I'm sorry, slavery, and then through the Great Migration to us today. So we always have had a part in art. I think we need to reconnect with it.
And then a lot of us know about real estate and have embraced understanding the real estate market and the value of appreciating. Some of us are invested in the stock market, but I want to start off before we get into the tour and really explain the potential that exists in our community. And I like to call them our national treasures, because just like back in the day when we knew about Sammy Davis, there were thousands of other amazing entertainers that we didn't know of. Likewise, now this community is filled with so many amazing artists. And I'm going to start off with a question, because 90% of the time I'll ask this question and most people haven't heard of this artist, but there's a living artist here in Bronzeville. He has a studio, and his name is Kerry James Marshall. I'm just curious, by a show of hands in the chat, has anyone heard that name? Okay, most have not. And I like to take this poll because for the most part, most people haven't heard of this name. And this is another example of how we as a community have an amazing investment opportunities in fine art that we don't take advantage of. But Kerry James Marshall's studio is here in Bronzeville on 38th in Michigan. And in 1999, when they did the McCormick Place expansion, there was an artist call, and 2 artists of color were selected to participate in art on all those walls where the conventions are. In last year, Peer Authority, who owns McCormick Place, took Kerry James Marshall's painting off the wall, and they took it to auction at Sotheby's, and it sold for $21 million. Now, most of us have an automobile worth $25,000 or more, and we could have invested in that worth at that time, but because of education, we probably thought of art more as decoration. But the same year, another piece sold for $18 million. Now that's an extreme of the investment opportunities that are available or were available in a living artist like that. But those opportunities continue because as a for-profit gallery, we have the sales statistics of many artists, and we've personally observed 50%, 150%. And because of the way that art is created, it is archival. And what that means is it will last as long as your house or longer. And the reason is because the materials that artists use in our gallery who create only original one-of-a-kind works are pigment that comes from the earth, whether it's oil or acrylic paint, and then the medium that they paint it on is treated so it doesn't rot from the back. We've personally seen works in Ethiopia from the 13th century.
13th century.
And I mean, vibrant works. So what this means is as these works are appreciating, we all have the opportunity to pass on wealth and culture.
And I think it's a great time to make sure the children are also involved so they understand the importance of collecting art. I know as a child myself, I was also involved in the community and art, grew up with a mom who was a seamstress, and it provided creativity for me. But there was an art gallery in my neighborhood. I grew up in Chatham, right here in Chicago, where there were a lot of Black businesses. And I had the opportunity to walk in my own neighborhood and see an art gallery. Many people do not have that same opportunity to be able to walk around in their own communities to see an art gallery, to see African Americans creating amazing pieces of work, original artwork where nobody else will ever have it. And so it's so important to make sure that we embrace this, not only for ourselves as adults, but also for our children, so they learn about art. They feel comfortable coming into an art gallery. So many people are intimidated when it comes to art because they think it's for the rich or the very rich, which typically in Europe it had been. But art now is for everyone to enjoy. And we want to take it, embrace it, support it, and pass it down.
And I would like to coattail, because Leah made a very good point about the psychology around collecting art. And it used to be that when we first opened, it was more about decoration. But particularly since this last recession in COVID, it's been more about wellness. So our business has moved to a decoration fulfillment business to a wellness assistant business. And before we get into the virtual exhibit catalogs, we're going to direct you to our website. But the first video there that we want to invite you to take a look at on your leisure later is a video about 6 collectors and the fingerprints that they offer. And one of the collectors in particular, Daniel Texador Parker, he has over 2,000 original paintings in his home. And he spoke about in the interview how he's talking to a lot more of his friends about how this is affecting them and they're depressed. But he is relieved that when he comes home, the energy of his artists and that whole collection is calming his spirit and his soul. And we're finding that particularly with Zoom and the backyard of art and the artwork, everybody is starting to look at their walls and kind of figure out, what have I been doing?
Exactly. I mean, you're at home all day and you see bare walls. And I have to admit, there are a lot of people that have bare walls at home. So I'm going to ask in the chat, if you could answer this question: how many people don't have original artwork in their homes? Do not. So if you do not, just say I or something. So we kind of get an understanding about how many people are not collecting yet and how important it is to really feel that energy around art, because art is personal. It has a personal value where if you feel something, it makes you feel a certain way. And having that in your home will make you feel even better, because a lot of people, as Andre mentioned, are going through hard times right now, or times are just difficult being at home all day. And it will beautify your space and then give you something to really enjoy every day looking at it. And art changes when you look at it. Sometimes you'll see one thing and then you'll see something else. It's completely different. And I think what will happen once we start going through the virtual exhibition catalogs, you'll see the art and then you'll feel really easily attracted to something. And if you are, we just put in the chat that you can contact us. My number and Andre's number is in the chat, so you can contact us and we will be able to assist you right away and giving you more information about that art piece.
And reserving the piece. So I'd say let's get right on into it, because this is a fundraiser also, because we are excited about sharing our artists, our artwork, but we're also going to share 10% of the proceeds with the foundation, with AKA
20 Pearls
Foundation. And why that's important, it's just not for tonight, but anytime you give us the code on a purchase in the future,
436,
we're going to continue to donate. And we think that this is a partnership of activism that's important, because it's also helping us all have the opportunity to pass on wealth and culture. So a couple points that we need to mention, and things that we want to look at while we're going through the tour. One, it's a fundraiser. Two, you can purchase during this event and reserve a piece by sending a text and indicating you're interested in purchasing. Why that's important, because with 100 people looking at the same time, if you're the first one that says, I'm interested and I want that piece, we will give you first dibs, so to speak, on any particular painting. Also, you can pay over time and no interest, so there are a lot of options. And lastly, we're going to offer a 5% discount to you as a buyer as an incentive as well, anytime you use that code also.
And I might add that there are different, when you start looking at it, there are different exhibitions. We have 8 different exhibitions on our website, and there are the virtual exhibition catalogs. So you can see art in each one of those exhibitions. So before, if you came to the gallery, we would install the artwork, we would have our labels there, would give you information about each of the pieces, and then you would walk around, have a glass of wine, music, and then we would talk about the art and introduce the artist. Can't do that now with COVID. So we have our virtual exhibition catalogs. You can easily come in, walk around, just like you were dropping into the gallery, and see the artwork. It's not intimidating. Even if you come to the gallery, it's not intimidating. It actually is a lot of fun. You'll find after COVID, once you start coming back out to these exhibits, oh, it's amazing. We have such a great time. So we're going to get ready to, I guess, to take you into the tour.
And the virtual exhibition catalog has been the pivot that has really changed our whole business model, because prior to COVID, we depended on people. And last September, we had over 4,500 people on 47th to participate in our monthly art crawl, the Bronzeville Art District Trolley Tour. So you can use this, it's very easy, and you can even, if you'd like, if you want to join in and follow us around the gallery virtually, you can go to our website, www.galleryguichard.com, in a separate screen or a separate device, an iPhone, and go to the vertical exhibition catalog, and you'll come to this screen. This first screen shows that collector's fingerprint video I mentioned. We're not going to go into that tonight, but when you have an hour to spend some time and look at the journeys of 6 different collectors, new collectors with just 5 original pieces to master collectors with over 2,000 original pieces in their collections in their homes. So it's really a great opportunity to educate yourself.
That was a great conversation too, because we were able to talk about why they started collecting, how they started collecting, and some of their first pieces to the pieces they just collected.
And you don't have to be rich to collect. And many of these collectors just made an active decision to purchase something that appreciates versus depreciates. So whether it's a new pair of shoes or a suit or a new vehicle, those are all depreciating assets. And as a community, we have to continue to make sure a portion or a percentage of our assets and things that we purchase appreciate. And original fine art is one of those, and we can help you with that. So with each of the virtual exhibition catalogs, there are 2 links. The first link is a quick video introduction of what the exhibition is about, and we'll start off with that. And second is the actual VEC catalog. And when you click on that, it drops you into the exhibition and you can walk around freely. Before we start, I do want to add one other point which we're very excited about, and that is the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City,
Yes.
which houses the largest collection of contemporary catalogs in the world, has recently invited us to catalog and archive all of our virtual exhibition catalogs on their site, along with the masters from history and then into the future. It's a learning museum as well as a museum that hosts masters in the mainstream, allowing our artists of color to be listed there and documented and archived there only helps to bring the appreciation of our artwork up. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, so exciting.
So without further ado, we're going to get started with our first intro video for our virtual exhibition catalog number 2.
Excellent.
Welcome. My name is
Stephen Mitchell.
Francis Guichard,
is Andre Guichard,
also known as the artist Marlene Campbell. I am a collector,
artist,
Art collector,
collector,
and co-owner
of
of Gallery Guichard. Our mission is to expose the collector to multicultural artists specializing in the art of the African diaspora.
We are very excited. This is our 15th year as a gallery here in Bronzeville, home of 80 plus years of art movements in the African American art community. We're also a member of the Bronzeville Art District, the largest African American art district in the country. Tonight, we have a very exciting exhibit for you. We are featuring our Gallery Guichard artists and several of our artists from the African diaspora, including the amazing work behind me by Stephen Olalekan, otherwise known as Shayo.
Art can also show off your personality as well as various emotions. Finally, art can be a significant investment that yields a lot of profit in years to come.
Now more than ever, people need art to cleanse their spirit and inspire their soul. Our tagline is art that touches the soul, and we're very excited to give you this opportunity to purchase some of this amazing original artwork. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Click on the link for the virtual exhibition catalog that you're interested in. Then once it opens up, you are inside of the Gallery Guichard exhibition of your choice. Now you can move around freely by touching the circles, and you can get information about each painting, title, medium, artist, and contact information for Gallery Guichard.
It is up to all of us to hold on to the rich culture art provides and to pass it down. It is up to us to support the arts and keep it alive. We make it easy at Gallery Guichard. Ask about our no-interest payment plans. We are also an event space for meetings, weddings, and receptions, as well as other events. Check us out at galleryguichard.com.
So that was the intro video for virtual exhibit catalog number 2. Now we'll click on the link to the actual VEC and drop into Gallery Guichard. So now you are in the exhibit, and to move around, those circles on the floor allow you to move freely, and then you can approach the different pieces that speak to you. And below each painting, there's a matter tag, and you can press on that to receive information. Tips on how, if I were going into a gallery to look at a piece of art or purchase a piece of art, and how many collectors approach. The first thing they do is look at works that speak to them. And I like to say connecting with the original art is a lot like falling in love, because the spirit of the work of the artist speaks to you and the story behind the work. So I'll usually start off with, I see a piece I like, then I look at the title. So this one here is?
This one is Liberation by Stephen Olalekan. We call him Shayo. He's a Nigerian artist, and it comes as a mentee of Abiola Akintola, which is, you'll see his work as well. And you'll notice this piece is sold. We have a red dot on the sold pieces. But if you came to the gallery, there may be a red circle or dot on the actual label indicating that that piece had sold. And then it has the price, the medium, so which is the materials that it's made of. This one actually is mixed media, but it's wrapped in Ankara cloth of African cloth, and the dimensions, 84 by 30. And then it has information on how you can contact us as well.
Correct. So this is part of the tour and how you can move around and discover works that speak to you. So if we go over to another painting by Abiola Akintola. He's actually the mentee of the artist we showed you before. And these are works of famous celebrities, but the way he goes about creating these works are very interesting. And this is what he calls acupointillism. And pointillism is when an image is made up of a lot of individual dots. But in this case, he extends the dots outward so that they extend out, and it's a very ingenious way that he's approaching this medium. And this artist is an example of excessive appreciation in the sense that we've been working with him since we opened 15 years ago, and we've seen his work sell, some of his sculptures have sold in China for over 400,000, but he maintains a studio practice where he's able to offer work to individuals which are fairly reasonable. Another artist in this exhibit is Calvin Coleman. He's from Maryland. We've also been representing him for over 15 years, and Peace Over Me by Calvin is acrylic and mixed media on canvas.
And Calvin paints a lot of women because he was raised by women. His aunt really took care of him, his grandmother, and so you'll find mostly women. It'll be a rarity if you're able to find a male in his pieces, but there are some that he painted that were men.
Then the next artist before we move to the next exhibition is the work of D. Lammy Hansen. And several of these artists we engaged during a art contest, a international art contest that Gallery Guichard managed for 10 years, where we would receive 6,000 art submissions a year, and we would narrow down the submissions to 20 artists per market in 15 cities across the country and 4 cities across Canada, and then take all of those artists back to Miami in December during Art Basel and create a platform for them to sell to the stars. This was the New Orleans winner in one of those years, and she's continued to have a great success at the gallery.
So we'll drop out of here and we'll go to the next VEC, which is the video and VEC number 3.
This is the McCrae virtual 8th annual Fine Art Home Show. So every year in June for the last 8 years, we would take 30 to 50 paintings to Washington, D.C., and one of our clients, the McCraes, who are young collectors, would invite their friends to come and see our exhibition of our artists from Chicago and around the country. And it has grown to such an amazing event that this is actually one of our top selling exhibitions every year, and partly because people have the opportunity to see people like themselves living with the collection of original art.
And Nancy McCrae happens to be a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha.
And Lorenzo is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity like myself, so it's a Pan Hill connection that we're proud of.
So let's go in and watch the video.
Welcome. My name is
Francis Guichard,
Stephen Mitchell.
Andre Guichard,
also known as the artist Barney Campbell. I am a
Art collector,
artist, curator,
and co-owner
co-owner
of
Gallery Guichard.
Our mission is to expose collectors to multicultural artists and specialize in the art of the African diaspora.
We are very excited. This is our 15th year here at Gallery Guichard in Bronzeville. Today, we have an amazing exhibition for you, the 8th annual McCrae Home Show. 8 years ago, Lorenzo and Nancy McCrae, collectors from DC, opened their homes to their friends and family to open their eyes to the wonderful world of collecting by showcasing their own collection and allowing Gallery Guichard to showcase 40 to 50 works of art every year. This year, we're featuring over 70 works of art here at Gallery Guichard, and it will be featured in our virtual exhibition catalog so you can enjoy and explore the work on your own. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Click on the link for the virtual exhibition catalog that you're interested in. Then once it opens up, you are inside of the Gallery Guichard exhibition of your choice. Now you can move around freely by touching the circles, and you can get information about each painting, title, medium, artist, and contact information for Gallery Guichard.
While owning a piece of art can certainly make your home beautiful, it's also like owning a piece of history. It can also show your emotions and your personality. Finally, art can be a great investment and reap significant financial rewards.
It is up to all of us to hold on to the rich culture that art provides and to pass it down. It is up to us to support the arts and keep it alive. We make it easy at Gallery Guichard. Ask about our no-interest payment plans. We also specialize in event rentals for meetings, weddings, other receptions, and events. Check us out at galleryguichard.com.
All right.
So now we're going to take you into the virtual exhibition catalog number 3. And this is a group exhibition. And there are still several pieces from this exhibit that are available, but quite a few have sold. But we'd like to start with one of the deceased masters that is part of this exhibit and that is still available. And Gus Nall is one of the artists that I referenced from the Work Progress Administration in Bronzeville. He was a living artist in Bronzeville, and while he's deceased now, we found out earlier this year that one of our collectors was the nephew of this famous artist, and he had a collection of his original work in his home that he wanted to sell in the secondary market. What that means is, as a collector, the secondary market is where you as a collector decide to liquidate some of your assets. And this was an example of appreciation in large numbers, but more so, it speaks to an opportunity to collect an artist and artwork that is over 50 years old, and he speaks to a time in history in Bronzeville about love, etc. So
and it's Cubism style. It's just really awesome. And I believe this was painted in the early 1970s. Let's see, here's another piece that by Gus Nall, just so you can get a sense of his range here. It's amazing pieces.
So to Francis's point, again, you look at this piece, it's very interesting. Then you go to the title and you can see it's an untitled piece. However, it's oil on canvas, which, speaking to what we were speaking before, these are materials that are archival. So while this body of work was created in the 70s before he passed, it's still around today, 2020, and quite a few of these pieces have already sold and some are still available.
And if you see anything you like, we do hang and install work as well.
And if you have a home outside of Illinois, we do crate and ship and insure the work as well. The next piece is one of our artists, Buchi Upjohn. He's a Nigerian artist and he lives in Atlanta, but he has an interesting medium. He actually paints acrylic on wood, then he comes in and digs into the wood and also burns it. So his process is very interesting, but his work speaks to family and the future and our youth. So our role as gallerists is not to sell, but just to help when you see a piece of work that speaks to you, to help you acquire it and get it to wherever you'd like it to finally rest, including installation.
So one is called Black Optimism. That's this one. And then the other one is called The Love Between Us.
And again, this, with all of the works, is an opportunity to have something that is one of a kind, whether it's our homes, our cars, our clothes, everything for the most part that we have is mass produced. So this is an opportunity for you to pass on wealth and culture, because these are artists of the African diaspora. Now in this room, we have several different artists that we represent. The one to the right is Pearlie Taylor, and Pearlie Taylor is an amazing artist. And this work here, for those of you who follow art, there's a movie called Pollock, and there was a famous artist in the 50s who painted in this style. But I think the work that Pearlie is doing takes this abstract layering even further, and this one is entitled Machination of Madonna by Pearlie Taylor.
Of a Madman.
Of a Madman by Pearlie Taylor. And as it relates to pricing, a lot of times people say, well, why is this piece $500 and then this one's $3,500 or another one's $10,000? Just like the stock market, art continues to grow in value over time. So with our new artists who are emerging, they're just coming out, like myself, 25 years ago, my paintings were $500 or $250. But my most expensive piece has been $25,000. But Pearlie, while she is 80 years old and still active in painting, she's been painting actively for over 20 years. But then some of the values or lesser price works might only be $500. Now we're gonna go to another artist, and this is entitled Passion, and it's an embracing couple, and it's by Ademola Akintola, who is the older brother of Abiola Akintola, who we told you about earlier. He lives in London, and that's acrylic on canvas, and it's again an example of a lot of different fingerprints. So just like each of these artists have a style and a fingerprint that's unique to them, as a collector, you'll have a taste that's unique to you, and over time, your collection will reflect who you are.
And this next piece is by Peter Owolabe. Peter Owolabe is one of the mentees of Abiola Akintola, and this piece is called Civilization, and it's amazing. It's burnt wood, and he collages it and then adds a medium that gives it texture. So Peter is doing some amazing things. I believe we have just a few new pieces that we just got in by him
For our next exhibit.
for our next exhibit.
Mhm. And to that point, next week, we add virtual exhibition number 9, which you also will be sent the information to, and you'll also be able to have the opportunity to shop our new show, which opens next week, which is amazing.
Actually, it opens on the 20th.
Oh, I'm
We
sorry,
still have an extra week.
That's true. So now we're going to take you in to our next exhibit, Color Me In, which is an all-woman show, which, believe it or not, is a rarity to have a show of all women.
So we're going to watch the video, and then afterwards, feel free to ask any questions that you may have.
Hello,
My name is
Stephen Mitchell.
Andre Guichard,
Frances Guichard, also known as the artist Marlene Campbell,
artist, curator,
collector,
And I'm co-owner.
co-owner
and owner
of Gallery
Gallery
Guichard.
Guichard.
Art encourages you to see more than what's in front of you and ask questions that allow you to delve deep into fresh new perspectives. Hold on to the rich culture that art provides and pass it down.
We are very excited to celebrate our 15th year here at Gallery Guichard and the 14th year of the Bronzeville Art District Third Friday Trolley Tour, now the largest African American art district in the country. Today, we are honored and privileged to introduce to you our new Color Me In exhibition featuring 9 amazing women from around the world and around the country.
Color Me In speaks to the existence of women in the unfathomable universe through the art of 9 diverse and accomplished women artists. Each artist will showcase work through their own experiences, viewpoints, and dreams from the past, present, and future. Join us on July 17th for Color Me In.
Whether you're a novice collector looking to purchase your first piece of artwork, or whether you're a seasoned collector looking to add to your collection, make Gallery Guichard a part of your art collecting journey.
Today, more than ever, people are spending more time at home and finding that original art is helping them to cleanse and inspire their souls. Take a chance on collecting original art, and instead of a new suit or a pair of shoes, invest in an emerging artist of your choice and find out how you can pass on wealth and culture with original art. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Click on the link for the virtual exhibition catalog that you're interested in. Then once it opens up, you are inside of the Gallery Guichard exhibition of your choice. Now you can move around freely by touching the circles, and you can get information about each painting, title, medium, artist, and contact information for Gallery Guichard.
Check out our no interest payment plans. We also are an event space for meetings, weddings, receptions, and other events. Check us out on galleryguichard.com.
See art, love art, buy art, live with original art. Please enjoy our Color Me In virtual exhibition catalog, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Yeah, that was another one of my favorite exhibitions from this year. And like VEC number 2 and 3, what you see is that some of the pieces are sold, and with original art, most artists do commission work, so they can create something similar from the same series if you see a piece that speaks to you that is already sold.
So now we're going to take you right into the VEC. I think we're going to forego, didn't look at the VEC.
So
I'm so
now
sorry.
we're going to go into the virtual exhibit catalog for VEC number 4. And this was the all women's exhibit, which was simply amazing. And we'll start off with Alpha Bhutan. She is one of the resident artists here at the Bronzeville Artist Loft. Above the gallery, there are actually 16 artist live work studios. And Alpha is one of the artists that live in what is an amazing artist colony and incubator. And this is one of her social justice pieces.
And isn't this piece amazing? It is very tall. It's 10 feet by 6 feet by 2 inches wide on the depth. And it is called Alienations, Social Criticism. And it's an amazing piece. This piece will fit in any space, especially if you have a daycare or some type of center. It's just amazing. So we'll move on to another artist too. We wanted to show you.
And Frances is an amazing artist. She's being
These are
humble.
also-
And even though this is a series that is part of an amazing series about migration where she uses acrylic and sand, I really loved this piece because it spoke to an artist's responsibility of documenting moments in time. And this is a piece about COVID.
Right, so you can see at the top there are the virus COVID is affecting all of our people, especially African Americans. So I really wanted to show the multitude of people that are affected by it, but yet there's still hope and blue skies that out of lemons, we make lemonade. So we'll move on to a different artist, and we have here Nikki Akintola, but she goes by Nikki O because her name is Nikki Owolabe. This piece is available. She's using mixed media. She's using, as you can see, copper piping, also different types of like some type of glittery substance, as well as you know, cut out materials. And we'll give you the information here, which is the KISS. And this one, again, is still available. It's $1,500. And just know you can put down on a piece. You don't have to pay for it all at once. I remember when I was first looking at art, I was thinking, I have kids in school. It's so hard for me to afford this. I really want an original piece of artwork. But you can put down on a piece of art and pay over time.
And having an original art is special because how often or how rare is it to have something in your home that no one else in the world has? And that is why collecting original work is special, in addition to the appreciation.
And if you do see something you like, you can actually have that piece commissioned if it's already sold. So she can make something similar, or they can make a piece that's similar, but not exactly the same, in the same genre. And you can get, you know, the mediums the same, and then be able to have a piece very similar if you like something that's already sold.
And it can be customized to a particular size in your space. So the beauty of commission work is it can be commissioned and customized colors and size for a space, which is special. The next artist is Cynthia Cava from Brazil, and amazing artist we met while we were exhibiting in Boca Raton, Florida. And she has been actively selling, and this piece is still available. I love it because I'm a scuba diver, but it feels like you're underwater in that beautiful landscape underwater if you ever have dived. And Botanica Violet by Cynthia is acrylic on canvas, and it's $1,500. In this back room, we have some examples of amazing emerging artists. And I like to talk about classes of artists, and I want you to parallel it to the stock market. Initial public offering, mid-career, blue chip. We would all have loved to got a piece of Amazon or shares of Amazon when it was under $30. Now it's $3,000. An emerging artist offers you or a young person that same opportunity to purchase their work because it speaks to you, and then it grows as their career grows. Free Me is a work by Nidhi Maghera from India.
Right, she's from India, but she resides in San Francisco. And she too was a part of the Bombay Sapphire Artisan Series. And if you look at the circles, the dots just mean colors that we chose for each of the artists. And then we tried to put red dots on those that may have been sold, but not all of them will have a red dot. Again, if you go to the gallery, there will be a red dot on any pieces that are sold. So it's just information so you can get that. And then when you're purchasing original art, is it ever possible to meet the artist? Yes, we have art exhibitions on a regular basis, and our artists are usually in attendance at the event. So we will allow for you to, you know, meet the artist.
And I think that's so important because there's a story behind every piece, and really each piece, you get a little bit of the energy that the artist put into the painting, and then you bring that back into your home. And that statement I made earlier about the energy of the work being part of that cleansing process, that's part of it, but then also learning and meeting the artist is also part of it. And we also, with all of our openings, have artist talks where the artists actually speak about their work and their process.
So the next artist is Hill Spriggans.
Hill Spriggans from New York City, an amazing example of an emerging artist, and she's very hot. So here you have a 4-foot by 3-foot painting for under $2,000. So if you're not in the art world, you think, wow, $1,700 is a lot. But this is another example. She's now getting her master's, her MFA in art from NYU in New York, and she's almost sold out. This piece is available, but a lot of the work that we received has sold. So that's part of how you, after you say, oh, I love this work, you want to know, just like before you buy a stock, what's the history, what's the management team, what's the profit margin on this company, what's the background? The next thing you ask or inquire about is, what is the biography of this artist? And what that tells you from an investment standpoint is, what does the trajectory look like for this value? If they're doing things and their work is selling, the chances are with supply and demand, those prices are going to continue to go up. And as they get on more platforms, your appreciation grows as their career grows. So she's another great example. D. Lammy Hansen is also another artist that we spoke about, and she actually doesn't use pigment. She scratches metal point onto wood. So that's actually 14 karat gold scraped onto wood to create that image. And the title of this piece is Exhilaration.
So we'll move on to the next back so we can
and-
see a few more pieces.
And we're not gonna go into the intro video on the next one, just so that we can cover all 8, and then we're gonna open up for questions. The next vertical exhibition catalog includes the work of Abiola Akintola, myself, and Stephen Olalekan. And this series here is a series I'm really excited about. It's been very, very well received. And it actually involves my work where I take pieces of canvas and I cover them in ground iron, like brake dust and gesso, and I create a metal surface over all of the canvas and the pieces of canvas. Then I oxidize it. So that brown hue isn't brown pigment, that's actually oxidized metal. And it really gives a very interesting effect. And this is solar flare. And it's really about just a conversation I've been having with myself about what's happening around us in space, whether it's the discovery of more planets, the whole fact that we're not alone in this universe. So it's been a really great series. While that piece is sold, I do commission work. The work behind you in this work is very exciting work by an artist, Francis Sabanda. And we actually met Francis Sabanda during our travels in South Africa. And with apartheid and civil rights and the whole African diaspora, you'll find a lot of similarities globally, but I love how this is reflective of what we're doing right now and have been doing over the last 6 months with protests. And what's very unique is he uses actual oil paint tubes in the torsos of his subject. So now feels like voting here, right? 5 hour, 10 hour, the same issues are global as it reflects our people of color of the African diaspora. So many times what you'll see, and part of an artist's role is to document history. So it's interesting to see some of the same issues in Africa, South Africa, that we have in America. And then lastly, this one speaks to the overly exhaustingly populated shanty villages that, in this case, we visited one of these shanty towns, no water, no running electricity, but this might be a group of 10,000 homes made out of zinc with no water or power, but it's a whole community next door, I mean, within 3 miles of maybe properties over $1 million. So
and it's interesting there to read about the history of South Africa. So if you ever get a chance, read about it, but also take a look at the art and collect it.
Again, oil on canvas, but the unique fingerprint for Francis are those oil tubes that make up the torso. So now we're going to move to the next exhibition. Virtual exhibition catalog number 7. And this one is one that we invite you to come back to and look at
6.
the one on the right, but we're going to give you just a quick overview of what this is. And this is the Bronzeville Renaissance mural that Gallery Guichard was the artistic
Welcome back
administrator
to the virtual Bronzeville Art District Art Tour.
Painting of the
My name is
mural.
Andre Guichard.
Francis Guichard.
I'm Stephen Mitchell.
also known as the artist Marlene Campbell,
art collector,
collector
Artist, collector,
and co-owner
and co-owner
and co-owner,
of Gallery
Gallery
Guichard.
and we're here live on 38th in Michigan on sacred ground, home of the new Bronzeville Renaissance mural.
Like the Wall of Respect, painted in 1967 as Black expression on 43rd and Langley, the Bronzeville art mural, sponsored by ComEd, is a representation of social, cultural, and historical markers that represent our past, present, and future.
Here at Gallery Guichard, we also create platforms for artists and collectors to meet, but we also create opportunities for multicultural muralists to touch the communities with their creativity.
This mural provides the community access to art and is a cultural destination that is open and welcoming.
Public art adds value to the cultural, aesthetic, and economic vitality of a community. This segment focuses on Gallery Guichard's recent collaboration with ComEd and two amazing muralists, Sean Warren and Ramon Static.
My name is Sean Michael Warren, and I'm an artist born and raised in the city of Chicago. My name is Ramon Static from the south side of Chicago.
Thank you all for tuning in once again to Gallery Guichard and our virtual exhibition gallery. If you see anything you like, feel free to reach out to myself, Andre, or Francis with any questions. And as always, it is our hope that you will make Gallery Guichard a part of your art collecting journey.
So the next video that we invite you to come back to and enjoy is a 30-minute journey of the creation of that mural. It was actually painted on parachute cloth at Gallery Guichard in sections, and it's 60 feet wide by 8 feet tall. And it was an amazing journey from December through June to watch them create that here and then mount that onto the wall this past summer.
And it's open to the public, open to visit at any time on 38th in Michigan.
Our next exhibit is Virtual Exhibition Catalog number 7.
And we drop down.
And as we drop in, we're going to go over and share some work of several of our artists. You just saw the work of Francis Sabanda, and this is more of that work there, straight ahead. And this one was the only piece without an actual oil tube as the torso. And the way he does it, it's real subtle, but very beautiful, walking in the rain. And he's just such an amazing artist. And again, any piece that's sold, you can have commissions of more work in that series. This is one of my abstracts that was a variation of the piece you saw before where the canvas was covered in ground iron. This one is the whirlpool of life, and each of those whirlpools represents a year of your life, and it flows outwardly, but it's an abstract conversation about life and living. And the beauty was the owners of this piece actually came and got married in the gallery in front of the piece and dedicated the piece to their newborn child. So it was really exciting to have a work that was so much a part of the family. Straight ahead, we have the work of Stefan Olalekan, and this is an amazing young artist. Again, an example of, if I was talking about a stock, it would be the hottest IPO on the market. He was an emerging artist 5 years ago. His works were 1,500 or less, and 30 years old, and he's creating like a master already. So here again, opportunities of diamonds in the rough that are available to you, and our statistics and sales records of this artist is a definite prediction of increased pricing, and his work sells out all the time. Amazing artist. And that fingerprint you can recognize, the way he sculpts the forms and they connect. I just love his work.
And most of these pieces in this exhibition have sold. So there are still a few available, and these two by Stephen Olalaken are still available. If you are interested, let us know. We also do, I mentioned hang and, deliver and hang, and we also will crate and ship. So if you're not here in Chicago, we crate and ship.
This is Peter, another artist from Nigeria. And when you really look close, and why I love this technology, because when COVID happened, one of the challenges for us was what existed technologically wise at that time was more of a slideshow technology. I looked and saw what all the big fairs and large galleries in New York were doing, but it didn't really give you the feel. So prior to COVID, we really did not sell a lot of work online because people like to get up close and see the mediums. So the fingerprint of this artist, which is unique, is he takes shaved pieces of wood and place them on top of collage shapes of wood, then paints them later. So all artists have the same work mediums, paint, acrylic, oil, canvas, wood to work with, but how they express themselves is what makes their fingerprint unique. So you don't have to look at the title Peter, you can look at the way he creates and know this is his work. And that's part of learning and understanding different artist styles, which we highly recommend that you look at as much art as you can to see what type of art speaks to you.
And just so I want you to know too, that each piece comes either framed or unframed. And if it comes framed, it comes included in that artwork with that artwork and that price as well.
So our last virtual exhibition catalog is virtual exhibition catalog number 8, Creative Ingenuity. And this was the last exhibit before our current show, which opens in a week and a half.
November 20th.
November 20th. And it's part of our third Friday art tour that we're doing virtually, which has been extremely successful thanks to the VEC. So here we'll start off with Stephen Olalaken, Shayo, the young man, 30 years old, who has the other style with the 3-dimensional work. He has a whole other style, which this style, the piece on the left has already sold, but just his expression of form, the creation to 8,500 mixed material, but it's just the expressions in a way that's unlike anything we've seen before.
And it's very rare to find an artist with such a diverse fingerprint, but yet each of his pieces sell equally and they're very attractive.
This is the work of Abiola Akintola. Abiola is the mentor of Shayo, but this piece is aluminum cans on canvas and mixed medium. He takes Coca-Cola cans, shreds them to create collage material. So instead of collaging with magazine covers, he collages with pieces of aluminum can. And it's that creativity that creates the fingerprint that's unique and amazing. Straight across, we have Nikki Akintola, who is his wife. And then here,
wait, hold on, I'm going back to Nikki. There we are.
Her fingerprint again is using the copper and acrylic to create her imagery. So you can see it's a mixture of abstract and figurative work, because you can almost see the form, but it's just enough there for you to kind of get what it is. So an example here is another one of her amazing pieces, Forever Yours. So this body of work is still available also. And I want to show you another example of Stephen Olalaken's fingerprint. This is still one artist. Most artists will have one style that they may live with for 20 or 30 years. I've seen 5 different fingerprints from this artist, and this was the first style. When we first met him, there's a group of young Nigerian artists that have come out with this ultra realism style of painting with charcoal. that's so realistic that it looks like an actual black and white piece of photography, but it's a painting. When he first came to the gallery, his paintings were so realistic that people thought they were just blown up photographs and they didn't sell well. So he went back and he started this version of charcoal on canvas, which is unique because most charcoal pieces are usually under paper, but these are on canvas with wax and acrylic. And they're just amazing because the eyes and the sense of Afro, a connection to Africa is just amazing.
And mixed media.
Mixed media, successful series by this young artist who is hot as fire right now. More work by Stefan Olalaken. And I like the stories behind the work. And one of the things I talk about, fingerprints of the artist a lot, but collectors have fingerprints. So when someone comes into your home, they can look around your home and almost get a sense of what's important to you. So a piece like Rusty Romance speaks to how you appreciate love and how love is important to you. So pieces like that speak to a fingerprint that a collector might have.
And then another piece by Abiola, so you can get another sense of his fingerprint as well, is here. He's using these metal pieces where he's actually molding and sculpting them around to create the beautiful colors or array on this piece. And it's almost like a sculpture on the wall or on the board.
And a lot of artists have, to our point, different fingerprints so they can speak to the taste of different collectors. But whether it's non-objective abstract like this, where there's not a specific image, however, abstract art really is something that comes out of Africa. So to be attracted to abstract art is very natural because we are the creators of art, the original creators of art as a people coming out of the continent of Africa.
And these two pieces on the right sold, but this piece here is still available. It's called Grateful.
And again, any piece that speaks to you, because everything is original, if it's sold, the artist can create something custom, similar, but fit to you in the space on your wall.
This next piece is by Calvin Coleman, and it's an amazing piece. He uses fabric and he paints in acrylic paint to create the image. And this one is entitled Black is Beautiful 6.
And that's acrylic paint on canvas, and then he's collaging fabric on top of that. So again, how an artist uses material becomes how you recognize their style, and you may not even have to see the fingerprint. This next artist is an artist from Maryland, Preston Sampson, and we've been working with him for many years, and he also has several mediums that he works in. In this case, this is acrylic on canvas with, and I know there's another medium, encaustics, which is wax, beeswax. And just amazing work, but I like how this depicts the amazing creativity of our community from back in the 30s to hip hop on the far right. So it's kind of a progression of music and transitions of our music. This next artist here is Al Burtz from Washington, D.C. And Al is one of the few artists that are famous for his ballpoint pen work. So it's hard to imagine. This one is acrylic, oil pastel on wood.
Colored pencils on wood.
Just
and
amazing.
Oil pastel.
And he's just something, but I love
See the smoke coming out of his mouth. It's like, like he's really smoking.
And then this one to the left really speaks to me because too often you see how our young Black men, don't get the due in cases where they may be wonderful fathers, but because he's dressed differently, I love how it contradicts the image or the stereotype of young Black men, because this is a father and he loves his kids and he's the opposite of sometimes what you see. But if you look really close, those leaves on that painting are actually created with a ballpoint pen. And it's really amazing just how creative this artist is to be able to take a ballpoint pen and create like this.
Right,
But
that
that's the talent.
The entire paint, the pieces,
oil pastels.
oil pastels and ballpoint pen.
Mhm.
And then this one as well, Ni Blanc, and which means no whites, in
French.
Africanus.
No.
It's Africanus.
Okay.
Right.
So we want to thank you for what is our passion, creating platforms for artists to showcase their work and have you learn about these fingerprints so you can find a fingerprint that speaks to you. And at this point, we'd love to open up the floor for questions or anything you want to know. And no question is a stupid question, because an educated consumer is the best consumer. And that's what we're here for.
I'm just going to show you one more time this last room, because there's some pieces that are amazing. They're still available, and gives you a chance. And I just want to take you one more sculpture. We do have other sculptures as well. So if you look along the window, there are various sculptures, but this is one by Stephen Olalaken. Again, this young man is so creative and has so much to offer. Resilient by Stephen Olalaken.
Just the mere physics on that piece alone, how it's balancing, is just amazing. Just a young genius. And again, one of the national treasures available to you in this community. And this artist sells all over the country, and just amazing to watch his rise, and another artist that we should embrace and add to our collections. This artist here is Susan Williams. That's actually a bronze sculpture, and she's an artist who actually assisted Bill Clinton when he opened his offices in Harlem. She helped to decorate those offices. So that one list on her biography is part of what makes an artist's values go up in price, because the more platforms, the more things you do and higher prices you sell, your works keep increasing. So just like a stock, you want to get in at a cost basis that's low, so when it rises, you have more appreciation.
So those are the virtual exhibition catalogs. Again, don't forget to go to our website at www.galleryguichard.com. Visit the virtual exhibition catalogs. There's also information about the artists with their bios, and then you can visit that collector's fingerprint. Guess now we can entertain questions.
Yes. So how'd everyone enjoy the tour?
Seeing anything coming up in the chat?
No, I don't have any questions in the chat yet, but I am watching. I'm getting lots of loved it, beautiful, very enlightening, very powerful comments.
Excellent.
Excellent. Don't forget, you text us at either of those numbers. Put in 436 so we know it's from this event, and at any time we will be able to donate 10% to the 20 Pearls Foundation.
And this is a resource for you. Enjoy, take a tour with your husband, take a tour with your children, go to it as much as you want, because this is available to you, and educating yourself and finding what speaks to you is what it's all about. Then we can tell you that this is a great investment and why. But all of the artists that are in any of these catalogs have a sales history that we can share with you to support their prices and how it will appreciate.
And thank you, everyone. I see there are a couple of people who have identified a couple of pieces that they like. So yes, please let us know, get in touch with us. We would love to help you. You can actually social distance, wearing masks, come to the gallery and see it for yourself. We do take small, groups, or even just, one-on-one personal tours. And if you're coming, just let us know. We'd love to make that appointment with you.
We do have one question. question. How do you assess the value of the art that you already have?
Excellent question.
Awesome. So if you have art in your own collection, the only way that you can get a value is through a certified appraiser. While we are art dealers, we are not certified appraisers. So certified appraisers actually call us for comps on different artists so that we can assist them in determining the value of any work. So we do have referrals for a local certified appraiser who does specialize in African American art, Diane Dinkins Carr. She's also a collector of over 35 years and also a very established certified appraiser that we can assist you with.
And that kind of brings me to another point of something we didn't mention. When you do purchase art from Gallery Guichard, you will receive a certificate of authenticity, the receipt, and the biography for the artist. So it's important to make sure you hold on to those papers. That's your first initial documentation, and make sure you put it into a fireproof box so that you have those documentations should something happen. There has been a story where a collector actually had a fire in his home, as we talked about Daniel T. Parker.
And what's also important to talk about is understanding how, because this is an appreciating asset, how it relates to your home and your insurance policy. In particular, fine art is just like how you treat and handle your diamond ring or your wedding ring, because all of our individual homeowners policies have limits for personal property. So when you acquire a piece of art and get your certificate of authenticity, you have to look at your policy and see if your property damage for your home has individual limits. So if you buy a painting for $2,500, but you may have coverage for $250,000 on your personal property, but it might have an individual limit of $1,000. So you might need a writer to cover that individual piece properly. In that video that we mentioned, if you ever take the time to look at those, Daniel Parker talks about in the video how at that time he had 700 works of art in his collection, and he had a fire and 150 pieces burned. At that time, he wasn't totally insured for all the work. So those are things that as your collection grows, you do want to have a documentation of your work with your certificates of authenticity, and that's part of the documentation we provide.
And also, as Andre mentioned, we do have a show coming up, again, a new exhibit coming up on November 20th. If you are interested in attending that, you can email us, text us your email address, and we'll make sure you receive the invitation for that as well. And again, if you purchase 436, just text us, and then we will donate 10% to the foundation.
And that goes on for as long as we're doing exhibits and you're enjoying and learning art. We're committed to this relationship of donating to this foundation. As you build your collection, we want to help build the foundation.
No other questions?
Yeah, so enjoy the VEC. It's a little addictive, so once you start moving around, you might find yourself spending more time binging, but that's good because you really want to educate yourself. Just like when you go into someone's home, you know the difference between pergo and hardwood and marble and all those things. It's time we educate ourselves as a community about the materials that make up an original piece and our artists that are actually, whether we purchase or not, appreciating around us. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to touch you with our artists and our creativity.
And there's an Ashley out there who's having a birthday on the 23rd. So we look forward to seeing you on the 20th.
Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. What a cultural learning experience we've had this evening. I am Ciola Davis Barnes, and I serve as the co-chair of Target 4 Arts Committee. I've been given the esteemed honor of presenting to the both of you a much appreciated thank you. Your presentation today has been culturally enlightening, and it has increased our knowledge of art history and art appreciation. It was a stellar presentation exemplifying excellence in the arts. The certificate reads, Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is presented to Francis and Andre Guichard in grateful recognition for your enduring commitment to the arts. November 8th, 2020. Leah Hill, President of Lambda Tau Omega Chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Inc. Cherie Boston Haywood, Chairman of Art Target 4 Arts. Ciola Davis Barnes, Co-Chair of Target 4 Arts. We want to thank you again and encourage you to keep on educating our community. And at this time, I will bring on our confident, charismatic, and charmed Vice President to extend closing remarks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. I want to say Soror, Ciola Davis Barnes, for that wonderful greeting. I'm Michelle Clark, and as a program chairman for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Lambda Tau Omega Chapter, I am pleased that you have joined us this evening for Art That Touches the Soul. Exemplifying excellence through sustainable service is our international program theme, but it is also our call to action. The art is one of our international program initiatives, and we are proud to have had the Guichards join us this Sunday evening. The arts brings us joy, helps express our values, and builds bridges between cultures. The arts are also a fundamental component of a healthy community, strengthening them socially, educationally, and economically, benefits that persist even in difficult social and economic times. Arts, as identified by our president, Leah Hill, also improves individual well-being. We hope that you found an art piece this evening in the Guichard's virtual galleries that you would like to add to your art collection journey. Special thanks to our Arts Committee Chairman, Cherie Haywood, Co-Chairman Ciola Barnes, Lakeisha Daniels, Betty Escalante, and the entire committee for their vision and leadership. To Francis and Andre, this has been a wonderful educational and cultural experience. Truly it has. We sincerely thank you for providing a very diverse and enriching artwork experience. Thank you all so much for coming this evening, and we love your pieces. I look forward to coming and seeing you soon. My birthday's coming up too, so I might have to make a call. To our guests who attended tonight, we thank you for joining and invite you to visit our website for all our upcoming programs in Lambda Tau Omega Chapter. I want you to stay tuned for our Care for Caregivers event that's entitled A Night of Neo Soul that will be held on November 20th at 7 p.m. On November 22nd from 2 to 3 p.m., our Global Impact Committee will launch Operation AKA Safe Space to help facilitate refugees access to quality, affordable housing in the Chicagoland community. Once again, we thank you all so much for joining us this evening, and we ask you again to please visit our website, visit the Guichard's website. Happy shopping, and thank you all so much for coming. Have a great evening. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.